The roof is the decision most tiny house builders spend the least amount of time on and regret the most. People agonize over kitchen layouts, loft configurations, and window placements, and then pick a roof pitch because it looks good in someone else's build photos without understanding what the choice actually means for their headroom, their snow load, their solar capacity, and their travel clearance, and their long term leak risk. I've seen beautiful tiny houses with terrible roofs that were collecting water in the walls within 2 years. And I've seen modest, simple builds with well-chosen roofs that are still tight and dry after a decade of hard weather. The roof is not where you express creativity, it's where you make an engineering decision. And here's how to make the right one. The four roof styles and what they actually mean. What are four roof styles used on tiny houses with any regularity? Each has a distinct profile of advantages and trade offs. And the right choice depends on your climate, your parking situation, and your height restrictions, and what plan to put on the roof. The shed roof, a single flat, plane angling from one high wall down to a lower one, is the simplest roof to build and increasingly the most popular choice for modern aesthetic tiny houses. Construction is straightforward and fewer cuts, fewer joints, and less complexity at the ridge, where most leaks originate. The slope can be adjusted to optimize either interior headroom or exterior clearance, depending on which constraint matters more. On the drainage side, all water shed in one direction, which makes gutter placement simple and effective. And the trade-off is very simple. The high wall and the low wall creates unequal wall heights and affects furniture placement and feels in a way that taking away used to, like the gable roof. The classic triangle shape with two sloping planes meeting at the central ridge is the most traditional choice and the one most people picture when they imagine a house. It sheds water in two directions, which works well in climates with, heavy rainfall from multiple directions. The attic space created by the peak can provide a meaningful storage if the pitch is steep enough. And the weakness is the ridge, though. The horizontal line where the two planes meet is the most leak vulnerable point in the roof. And in a tiny house, that moves, and the ridge joint experiences stress that a fixed foundation home never does. A meticulously, detailed ridge flashing and quality ridge cap installation is non-negotiable on on a gable roofed tiny house. The gable roof, though, is basically a barn style double pitch with a sleeper lower slope and a gentler upper slope. It maximize loft headroom more than any other style. If standing headroom in the sleeping loft is your priority, gamble is the way to get it without adding overall building height. And the complexity is the trade-off. More angles, more valleys, and more flashing points, and more opportunities for water infiltration. A well-built gamble is excellent. A poorly built one leaks in three places simultaneously. And this is not a beginner's builder's roof. The flat or low slope roofs, generally flat or sloped, just enough to drain, appears occasionally in the minimalist modern tiny house builds. It maximizes interior, headroom across the entire space. It offers the best solar panel mounting too platform, and it has a distinctive aesthetic appeal. It also is the highest maintenance roof type available and the least forgiving of structural and precision. Standing water on a flat roof from even minor drainage failures lead to membrane failures and leaks faster than on any pitched alternative. Unless you have roofing experience or are working with a professional who does, avoid flat roofs on a tiny house at all costs. Height restrictions changes everything too. And here's the constraint that overrides aesthetic preferences in most tiny house builds. Legal transport height in the United States, the maximum legal height for a vehicle on most highways without an oversized permit is 13 feet by 6 inches. And many bridges and overpasses and drive-throughs are lower. A tiny house that needs to move now or ever needs to fit under the limit within clearance to spare. A typical tiny house trailer sits about 18 to 24 inches off the ground, and subtract that from 13 feet and 6 inches, and you have roughly 11 to 12 feet of unusable height from the structure itself, or usable height, not unusable. And walls plus roof, a standard wall height of 8 feet leaves 3 to 4 feet of your roof structure. That's enough for a modest loft with a shed or a low pitch gable roof. It is. It's not enough for a steep gable or a gambrel without compromising either the loft headroom or the transport clearance. And this math forces compromise that every tiny house builder eventually encounters. The most common resolution is a shed roof with a high wall oriented to the roadway side, allowing maximum interior height while keeping the overall profile low. The second most common is a low pitched gable, steep enough to shed snow effectively and shallow enough to clear highway infrastructure. Know your height budget before you design. Because your roof, you'll avoid the expensive redesign that catches people who work backwards from aesthetics. Roofing material, what holds up and what doesn't. The style determines the shape. The material determines how long it stays waterproof, which in a tiny house that moves is more demanding test than a fixed home faces. Metal roofing is the near universal recommendation for tiny houses, and for good reason. Standing seam steel or aluminum roofing is lightweight, durable for 40 to 70 years with minimal maintenance, and sheds snow and ice effectively and handles the flex and movement of a trailer structure better than any rigid material, and it costs more upfront than asphalt shingles too. Roughly $3 to $6 per square foot installed versus $1.50 to $3 for shingles. And it saves the premium many times over in longevity and reduces the leak risk over the life of the build. And the seam type matters. Exposed fasteners, metal roofing, and kind of where screws are visible on the surface is cheaper and faster to install, but it creates hundreds of penetrations through the roof and membrane that can work loose over time as the structure moves and temperatures cycle. A standing seam, metal roofing, where the fasteners are concealed within the seams, eliminates vulnerabilities entirely. For a tiny house that will be transported repeatedly, standing seam is worth the cost premium. And asphalt shingles are the default choice of budget conscious builders and the most common source of early leak regret in the tiny house community. They're designed for fixed foundation homes. They don't flex, vibrate, or absorb the road impacts a tiny house experience in transit. And shingles cracked in the bond between granule and mat when the structure moves, and those micro cracks emit water long before the shingles look visibly damaged. If budget absolutely requires shingles, use an architectural grade product with a minimum of 30-year rating and inspect them after every distance move. EPDM, rubber membrane, the back rubbery material used commercial flat roofs is the correct choice for any flat or very sloped application. It handles movement very well. It is genuinely waterproof when properly installed and seamed, and it can last 20 to 30 years with basic maintenance. The seams are vulnerability, though. The EPDM seam tape needs to be applied correctly and inspected annually. Any lifted seam edge is a leak waiting to happen. It needs immediate attention immediately. Ventilation and insulation, the invisible, half of the roof. A roof that keeps water out is only half the job. A roof assembled that manages the moisture, the heat, and the condensation correctly is the whole job. And this is where many tiny house roofs fail silently for months and before the damage becomes visible. A roof cavity needs ventilation to prevent moisture buildup and condensation. In a conventional home, this means soffit vents, ridge vents, and adequate airflow through the rafter base. In a tiny house, the same principle applies in a more constrained space. Closed cell spray foam applied directly to the underside of the roof sheathing, creating that's what's called an unvented or hot roof assembly, is the most reliable solution for a tiny house because it eliminates the condensation risk by keeping the entire roof assembly above the dew point. It's more expensive than bats plus a vent gap and worth every dollar in a structure where retrofitting a failure moisture management system requires tearing out a ceiling. Insulation values for tiny house roofs should target R30 at the minimum, and the most climates R38 in cold northern climates. And the roof loses heat faster than the walls in cold. And whether it is the highest return insulation investment available in a small structure. The decision framework: match the roof style to your height, budget, and climate first. Aesthetics second, and choose metal roofing unless budget genuinely just prohibits it. And choose standing seams over exposed fasteners if the house will travel. Insulate to R30 at minimum with a moisture management strategy that accounts for the tiny house environment, and detail every penetration, every pipe, every Every vent, every electrical entry with flashing and sealant that assumes movement, because movement is the one constant in a tiny house life. The roof you barely think about during the build is the one you'll think about constantly afterwards. Through every rainstorm and every winter, every mile of highway, make the decision carefully. And you'll never have to make it again if you do it right. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and comment. I would love to hear from you at the bottom here. I've been waiting for some good comments here lately. And if you really like the channel, feel free to buy me a coffee. It's down in the description down there. And click the link and support the channel that way. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, hey, check out this video too. You might learn something else there too. Never know.